I sincerely hope that whatever it was you wanted so badly that you felt the need to murder my son.
My only regret that in this state won't let me kill this coward.
So far today, testimony has focused on the day the victim's body was found along a riverbank.
Teen killers now face life sentences in court. Their reactions differ. Some don't believe it, some feel sorry, and others just don't care. All of them show how their futures are gone. Take the case of Jeremiah King, a teenager who became a killer from a regular teen to a notorious criminal. Jeremiah King, at the age of 16, was involved in the murder of a beloved Albuquerque bartender, Stephen Gerecke, in his own driveway. This tragic event occurred in 2015 after King and 5 friends spent the night engaging in mobbing, or breaking into cars and homes. When confronted by Gerecke in his garage, King admitted to pulling the trigger. Despite his young age, the judge sentenced him to a maximum of 25 years under his plea deal, noting his lack of remorse, a decision that highlighted the justice system's approach to juvenile offenders involved in serious crimes. The case underscores the severe impact of youth crime on victims and their families. In a turn of events that fights belief,
courts are taking it very seriously about how violent and senseless this was.
Tasmaya Whitehead took the drastic step of killing her own mother. On January 13, 2010, in Rockdale County, Georgia, Tasmaya and Jesmiah Whitehead, teenage twins, murdered their mother, Gerecke Nikki Whitehead. Initially, they tried to deceive the police by claiming they found their mother's body, portraying themselves as shocked and distraught daughters who had stumbled upon a gruesome scene. Despite their initial claims of innocence, evidence at the scene and inconsistencies in their stories soon raised suspicion about their involvement. Authorities revealed a history of domestic troubles between the twins and their mother. Further evidence, including bite marks and injuries on the twins, contradicted their claims of being mere bystanders. This evidence pointed towards a violent struggle, implicating them directly in the murder. Eventually, Tasmaya and Jesmiah confessed to killing their mother. The deadly fight began in the kitchen and quickly escalated. The twins admitted to using a pot, a knife, and a red vase in their attack. They beat their mother in a violent fight that involved biting, punching, and stabbing. The fight culminated with the twins dragging their mother into the bathtub where she died. In early 2014, Tasmaya and Jesmiah pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter, making false statements and possession of a knife during the commission of a crime. They received a sentence of 30 years each in prison. From the tragic separation of twins Tasmaya and Jesmiah, each serving time in different prisons, we turn to another startling case. Sarah Bunch's story
Nikki was a loving person. She was not.
Is a chilling reminder of how a single moment of rage can alter lives forever. Sarah Bunch, 21, faced serious legal consequences for her actions. She shot Robert Porter and then set his house on fire. For this violent crime, she was sentenced to 13 years in prison under a plea deal. The case of Sarah Bunch highlights the severe repercussions of violent acts, affecting both the offender and the victim's loved ones.
As for the little girl, I talked to an Ocala police spokeswoman while we were waiting here inside the Marion County Judicial Center.
Next, we turn to the story of Dylan Shoemaker, a youth whose decisions brought significant legal ramifications. Dylan Shoemaker, 16 years old, was babysitting his girlfriend's 2 sons in Springville, New York. The night ended tragically with the death of the older son, Austin Smith, who was nearly 2 years old. Shoemaker was found guilty of beating Austin to death and was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. At the trial, it was revealed that Shoemaker had beaten Austin because he was crying. He even put a pillow over Austin's head and punched it. Austin died because of severe brain injuries. Shoemaker apologized to his girlfriend in court, but the judge didn't believe he was sorry and called him a manipulator. The judge gave him the maximum sentence. Later in 2016, his sentence was reduced to 18 years to life. He'll be eligible for parole in 2031 after serving 18 years. Shoemaker, now 26, has been in prison for 9 years and is at the Clinton Correctional Facility in New York. As we continue, don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to stay updated with our upcoming videos. Now, let's see how Donta Wright's life changed forever in a single moment, leading to a tragic outcome that shocked the community. Donta Wright, 18 years old, was involved in the murder of Jordan Clee, a high school student, during a robbery in Ann Arbor. Wright, along with Jermarius Ellison and Delrano Gracie, planned to rob Clee of drugs, clothes, or shoes. The robbery went south and Wright ended up shooting Clee. In court, Wright admitted to shooting Clee and was sentenced to 25 to 52 years in prison in July 2017. During his sentencing, Wright was almost given a harsher sentence because he was smirking, showing he wasn't sorry for what he did. Ellison and Gracie, who helped Wright, were also sentenced. They both pleaded guilty to armed robbery, conspiracy to commit armed robbery, and murder. Ellison got 15 to 40 years in prison, and Gracie got a similar sentence. Gracie said sorry to Clee's family, but Ellison only apologized to his own family. This story was another example of how a single impulsive act can change a life forever.
Yeah, that's right. 18-year-old Jordan Clee, the victim in this case, loved playing football here at Pioneer High School.
From this sad story, we shift to another. Philip Chisholm's shocking crime, an act that not only ended a life, but also sealed his fate with a severe sentence. Philip Chisholm was just 14 years old when he committed a grave crime, shocking those around him. On October 22, 2013, in Danvers, Massachusetts, Chisholm, a student at Danvers High School, followed his math teacher, Colleen Ritzer, into a school bathroom. There, he brutally attacked her and killed her. Despite his young age, Philip faced severe legal consequences, a life sentence in prison. Now 24, he's serving his sentence at the Souza Baranowski Correctional Center in Shirley, Massachusetts. His lawyers advocate for these factors to be considered in re-evaluating his sentence. From the tragedy of Philip Chisholm, we turn to another story.
Juror number 7. What say you? Is the defendant guilty or not guilty on indictment number 2013-1446 charging of the murder?
That of the Hiccup Girl, whose sudden shift from a media sensation to a defendant in a severe criminal case left many in disbelief. Jennifer Mee, known as the Hiccup Girl. In 2010, her life took a tragic turn. Mee, then 19, orchestrated a robbery that turned deadly. She seduced a 22-year-old man to come to a location where her friends robbed and fatally shot him. Though Mee didn't pull the trigger, her involvement in the crime led to a severe punishment: life in prison without parole, a sentence handed down in 2013. This stark transformation from a media curiosity to a convicted murderer highlights the profound and sometimes tragic shifts that can occur in a person's life. From school to a quiet neighborhood, we encounter another story of Gavin Ramsey. His heinous act against 98-year-old Margaret Douglas in her own home is a shocking example of senseless violence. Gavin Ramsey, at just 17 years old, committed a crime in Wadsworth, Ohio. In April 2018, he broke into the home of his 98-year-old neighbor, Margaret Douglas, and murdered her. Ramsey snuck into her house, strangled her to death, and then spent hours taking videos and photographs of her body. He then hid the body in a closet covered with clothes and a vacuum cleaner. Ramsey was charged with multiple crimes, including murder and gross abuse of a corpse. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. During the sentencing, Judge Joyce Kimbler determined that Ramsey was beyond redemption and unfit to re-enter society. The decision was based on the U.S. Supreme Court ruling that a juvenile can only be sentenced to life without parole if they are found to be irreparably corrupt and beyond redemption. The case is notable for its severity and the offender's young age. Ramsey's parents attributed his actions to misprescribed medication, and Ramsey planned to appeal the decision.
And I believe that he planned to kill numerous people and use my aunt as a warm-up, so to speak, for those other killings.
Well, that's it for our video today. These stories show us the complicated world of crime and justice, especially when young people are involved. We're interested in what you think about these cases, so please share your comments in the section below. And, as always, thank you very much for choosing to spend your time with us today. We'll see you in our next video.